I have to put on record, now, the men and women who really fought for free higher education. In the House of Representatives, when I called for a meeting, only 4 lonely souls showed up in the meeting. And I think it is only proper that they be recognized. Congressman Joey Salceda, Congresswoman Ann Hofer, Congresswoman Evie Escudero, and the Office of Speaker Alvarez. Only 4 lonely souls showed up in the meeting when we were talking about how to save the bill. Join CHED, wala pang free higher ed. In fact, I was the first commissioner. Actually, I am the only commissioner who fought for free higher ed because CHED at that time was opposed to free higher ed officially. Okay. Ako lang naman ang appointee ni Presidente sa CHED noon. So I had the responsibility of pushing for free higher ed. It was difficult, to tell you very frankly, because 3 cabinet members in the economic cluster, including the Secretary of Finance, the Secretary of Planning, and the Secretary of Budget and Management, officially asked the President to veto the free higher education bill, arguing that it was too costly. According to them, it will cost 100 billion pesos a year, and arguing that if you subsidize free higher ed, you subsidize the non-poor aside from the poor. The argument being that the poor or the very poor are no longer in higher ed anyway because they have not survived to higher education, and therefore if you make it free, you are subsidizing the non-poor more than the poor. That is the classic thinking of economists. I am glad I am not an economist. Because in the debates, I said, it is impossible for free higher ed to cost 100 million pesos. You know why? It was very simple. I do not know where they got the 100 million because the data in enrollment is only with CHED. And free higher ed is enrollment-driven fundamentally because you are subsidizing students. So how can you compute 100 million if you don't have the number of exactly of students? So suspicioso na ako from the start that it will cost 100 million. I said it will probably cost only a fraction of that. Okay. The other argument is even more, how would you call that, unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. Because when you say that when you subsidize free higher ed, you're subsidizing the non-poor more than the poor, then you'll have to define what poor means. If poor means the lowest 20% of the population, yes, it's true, a very small percentage of them are no longer in higher ed. But that is because the government is not sending a signal to the very poor that you can go to higher ed. It is because the government is not sending a message that we are willing to invest in young people even if they are very poor. In short, you cannot change it by not putting money in higher education. And so, in the debates, and very close to the veto, I have to put on record, now, the men and women who really fought for free higher education. In the House of Representatives, when I called for a meeting, only 4 lonely souls showed up in the meeting. And I think it is only proper that they be recognized. Congressman Joey Salceda, Congresswoman Ann Hofer, Congresswoman Evie Escudero, and the Office of Speaker Alvarez. Only 4 lonely souls showed up in the meeting when we were talking about how to save the bill. The rest were just waiting for the veto. Literally. And the other one that I think we should really recognize is then Special Assistant to the President and now Senator Bongo. It was really Bongo who called me up, I think 4 days before the veto, and asked me to show up in the cabinet meeting to fight for it. And it was Senator Bongo who facilitated that the confidential memorandum that I will write will reach the President. So Senator Bongo, Speaker Alvarez, Senate President Coco Pimentel pushed very hard so that it will be explained properly to the President, and the President will see that it is fiscally possible to sign it. And so on August 3, 2017, I will never forget that date, August 3 of 2017, the bill will expire on August 5, 2017. So 2 days before its expiration and 4 days before the cabinet meeting, the President signed RA 10931. And things have never been the same since then. It is a testament to the leadership of President Duterte to send a message to the whole world, because we're the only developing country in a democratic system that is having free higher education. To tell the whole world that the best investment in the future is to invest in young people. That every peso given to free higher education is not an expense. It is not an expense. It is an investment in the future of the country. So that message since 2017 is a message that we have tried our best in CHED and UNIFAST to implement. And in behalf of CHED and UNIFAST, we'd like to report to the nation that free higher education is in full implementation, fully funded, fully implemented per the IRR of the law.